All right. It's roughly 9 o'clock on July 6, 2021. This is LinkedIn as a serious business tool. It's an open conversation. I have a series of talking point slides that I'm going to talk through, but feel free to use the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself because this is a small group and ask me any questions and I will answer them for you. And help you with these ideas. But I want to really just drive home this point that LinkedIn is a serious business tool and we need to use it appropriately. Hey, look, I've been doing this for a long time. Sandler sales trained, Dale Carnegie trained, DDI trained, certified social media, certified career coach. I'm a freaking Toastmaster and I've done lots of stuff relevant to using LinkedIn as a business tool. And I've been teaching it since about 2009, started a business in 2010. I've been using LinkedIn to grow my own business since 2007. So I practice day in and day out. Oh, I got to update this slide because I just tested it. It's where's that? Where'd it go? Right here. I have 800 videos on YouTube. I have 5,200 or 5,100 and something. So pretty purposeful about my growth of my videos and my questions. All right, why do we need to use LinkedIn as a business tool? 720 million plus 2 new million members every second, 56 million company pages on LinkedIn, 111,000 schools, universities, colleges, community colleges, private schools. 25% of all the LinkedIn members get on LinkedIn every other week. Now that sounds like a small number, but it's really, and first of all, it's double what it was in 2019, double. 2019, it was 25% got on there every month. Now it's every other week. LinkedIn profiles are indexed by Google. And the reason I know that is if you go do a Google search, and I can do this in incognito. Let me do it in incognito, which means it's not connected to my stuff. And I do a search for LinkedIn trainer. Typically, not always, but typically I fall usually right below the ads. Now I'm falling below the trainer page and the social media strategist page. So I'm number 3. So I typically fall above what's called above the fold if someone globally does a Google search for LinkedIn trainer. My LinkedIn profile is right there. I wonder who that is. It kind of looks like it might be, okay, I know who that is. So Joanne, but anyway, it's important that I show up in a Google search and my profile does. By the way, feel free to ask any questions as we go through this conversation.
Okay.
So. Yeah. Why use LinkedIn as a business tool and achieve your goals? Well, first of all, I just did a video for one of my clients this morning where I had to lambast a team of 25 people who are just slowly moving their networks forward. They're not moving their networks growing their networks anywhere near fast enough. They're growing less than 2 or 3 a week. And that's not going to make success happen. Your LinkedIn network can create connections to influencers in your target audience, to your prospect, can create connections to people who can introduce you to people you want to do business with. It is an important portal to conversations for business. Why use LinkedIn as a business tool to achieve your goals? If you engage appropriately and relevantly, if you share content appropriately and relevantly, that can grow your brand. It can grow your reputation. It can help you help people to bump into you and then go look at your LinkedIn profile and want to know more about you, especially if what you offer is something that they're interested in discussing. Why use it as a business tool? Because LinkedIn search is powerful and fast. It's a really cool tool. It's about 14 filters in LinkedIn. There's 24 filters in Sales Navigator. If you upgrade to the premium Sales Navigator, can really dig into finding your target audience in different regions, different industries, different companies, based on keywords, different roles. really a powerful tool to find your target audience and find their influencers. Sales Navigator is even more powerful. Sales Navigator gives you social listening skills, so you can pay attention to not just every connection you have, but a very focused list of what's called leads of LinkedIn members that you either are connected to or are not connected to that you want to pay attention to, so you can create an opportunity to engage, connect, and get into conversations. I don't cold call ever again. I stopped cold calling in 2009. And the reason why I stopped cold calling is because I don't need to cold call. Don't misunderstand me. I make plenty of phone calls, but I don't cold call. I use LinkedIn to get introduced to the people I want to have a conversation with. I use LinkedIn to get introduced to the people I want to connect with. I use LinkedIn to get introduced to my target audience. And then it's not a cold call. There's a bunch of KPIs, key performance indicators, that we need to pay attention to on LinkedIn. One of them is a group of 4 called our social selling index. And there's 4 numbers that make this up. First of all is your professional brand. How well built is your LinkedIn profile? How focused is it? How clear is it? And how much of the profile did you use? There's 11 key sections that you need to use to be able to get your LinkedIn profile built out, at least headed in the right direction. Second metric, am I connecting with the right people? Am I connecting with the people that I refer to that are relevant to what I say I'm all about in my profile? And mine, I can never get past 21 is about the highest I've ever seen, because I connect with sales leaders, business developers, business owners, entrepreneurs, but I also connect with job seekers because I'm a voluntary job coach. Third number is, am I engaging with insights? How often am I engaging? And am I engaging on content that is relevant to the people I'm connected with and relevant to what I say I'm all about in my profile? Again, this one's hard for me to move up because I engage on social selling, social engagement, social networking, but I also engage on career transition. And the last metric is how strong is my relationship with my connections? How deep, how broad, how wide? It's one thing to be connected to 1 or 2 people in a company. It's another thing to be connected to 5 people in that company and can be connected to hundreds of people who are connected to those 5, or at least dozens of people who are connected to those 5. A one-off connection is okay. A connection that you have mutual connections all around is factorially greater. Another metric is who's viewed your profile. How often does your LinkedIn profile get viewed? And by the way, your dashboard is on your LinkedIn profile. It's right below, I believe it's right above the activity section. You know, how many eyeballs do you get on your LinkedIn profile every 90 days? How often are people looking at your articles? And how often do you show up in a LinkedIn search? These are the 2 important metrics here, profile views and how often you show up in search. And the more often you show up in search, the more often you get eyeballs on your profile, the more likely you're going to get a referral, an introduction, a connection that's meaningful and relevant to you. Okay, this is a huge network. I got 14,000 plus connections. I have almost 23,000 followers. But for me, the point of interest is every one of those connections I've engaged with at least once. Most of them I've engaged with more than once. That's a lot of work over the last, since 2007. A whole lot of work for me to grow my network. But again, I do not just connect. I engage with every single person I connect with. The level of engagement is directly proportional to their relevance to my business. Another metric is followers. When I created a slide deck, I had 20,000 followers. For me, I don't just connect. I invite people to follow me. And the reason I invite people to follow me is I share content and I engage on content that is relevant to my target audience. And the more people who follow me, the more opportunities, again, for referrals, introductions, connections relevant to my business. But here's the most important metric. How many business conversations have I had this week as a result of my activity on LinkedIn? That is the most important metric. big deal. Your KPIs are high, your profile views are high, you got a huge network, you got millions of views in your content. None of that means anything. None of that means a hill of beans unless you're getting conversations with your LinkedIn network that can lead to business opportunities. These are important KPIs. None of them I tell people don't freak out on any one of them, but pay attention to all of them as a sum of the whole. Get focused or keep throwing spaghetti at the wall. So if we studied sales and marketing, we know that everyone is not your target audience. This applies to our activity on LinkedIn. All LinkedIn members are not your target audience. You've got to be clear on who your target audience is, clear on who your most important viewer is, clear on who your influencers are, clear on who on LinkedIn is relevant to your business, who in the role, in the company, in the industry, and or in the region is your target audience. The clearer you are with that, the more value you're going to get out of using LinkedIn. Additionally, you also need to know who are the influencers, who are the people who know the people that you need to know, influencers. You need to work on connecting with influencers. For me, I've discovered that often my target audience, the sales leader, is not on LinkedIn, or he's on LinkedIn, but he ain't doing nothing, or she ain't doing nothing. So I need to connect with influencers. Those are the people who can introduce me to the person with the purse strings. That's said very bluntly. But the more focused you are on who these people are, and the more focused you are on building your network around these two people, the more it's going to work for you.
Company.
Okay. I want to make sure I had somebody else attending. It's all in the words. Knowing who these people are can help you with the next steps. Because once you know who the people are, then you can figure out what are the keywords that I need to use? What are the phrases that I need to use? What are the keywords and phrases that are relevant to my target audience when I'm sharing and talking about, the products, the services, the widgets, the ideas, the philosophies, the value add that I can bring to the table. When you know these words, then you can integrate those words into your LinkedIn profile, into your content, into your comments, into your company pages, and you can grow your messaging all around LinkedIn relevant to your target audience. Look, I had a client a few years ago. I kept using the word client in my conversations with them. I kept talking with your client this and your client that and your client this. And they said, Teddy, we don't have clients. Our people are members. We're looking for members. Our entire organization, our association is wrapped around members, not clients. And that really rang true of me and got me thinking, if you're using the wrong words, then you're distracting or you're pushing away your target audience because you're not using their words. This is really important. When you can nail that, as well as nailing who your target audience is, you're going to be way more successful using LinkedIn. Focus on your target audience with their keywords throughout everything you do, and LinkedIn will work better for you. So a professional LinkedIn profile is one that's built focused on your target audience. And by the way, a professional LinkedIn profile is not a freaking resume. Can't be a resume. If you look at your LinkedIn profile and it sort of kind of looks and reads like a resume, or worse than that, you copied and pasted all your resume content and dropped it in LinkedIn, you screwed up. That ain't going to work. Nobody wants to read your resume. By the way, a resume is nothing more than an ongoing obituary. It does not speak clearly to your target audience, telling them what you do for them. Furthermore, check your spelling and check grammar. You do not want to show up in my Manger or my pubic relations report that I do every year. Do not make that mistake. And you need to be clear about what content you put in your profile. It needs to be relevant to your target audience and relevant to what you do today. Cannot be about your past. You do not want to distract your target audience by sending them down a rabbit hole, looking at when you were a barista or when you worked at a trash company in the morning, picking up trash, in the afternoon for the same company, you went and delivered caskets. True story. I did that. Never saw that symbolism until years later. But when you write your LinkedIn profile, write it like a brochure and speak clearly your target audience. It's you speaking to the human who is reading your profile, hopefully your target audience. Let's say I got somebody else that showed up. Hey, Angel, I'm going to move you over to be a panelist. Hang on. And now as you leave your camera off, Angel, but you can unmute yourself if you have a question. Build a professional LinkedIn profile. Minimize distractions so you don't create irrelevant content and send them down a rabbit hole. Show the viewer a little about you as a person. They want to know who people do business with people. People don't do business with robots. So very purposely, Angel, I want to kill your camera and just unmute yourself if you have a question. People want to do business with other humans. Understand what sections of a LinkedIn profile are relevant to you, to your business, to your target audience, and use all of those sections appropriately. Again, where relevant, where you can speak to who you are, what you do, what you can do, what you have done, and how you serve your target audience. A profile picture is vital. No profile picture, you're clearly telling your target audience you are unapproachable. Current up-to-date contact information. Every week, I look at a LinkedIn I'll find a LinkedIn profile that has an old phone number, an old email address, an old website. That's horrible. You're totally losing opportunities if your contact information is not complete, current, and accurate. And by the way, you got to test it. Click on the freaking email address to make sure it goes to email. Click on the web address to make sure it goes to your website. Call the phone number if you haven't called your own phone number in a while. Listen to the voicemail message you have on your phone number. One of my pet peeves is people who put their cell phone numbers on LinkedIn profile, and when you call it, it says, oh, this user doesn't care enough about you to keep the voicemail available. There's no space in the voicemail. All right, don't get me started. Telling your target audience what you do for them is far more important than pitching your stuff. Nobody wants to hear your pitch. They want to know what you can do to help them. Any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions. All right, next big one is your LinkedIn network. For me, my most important asset in my life, not philosophy, not, lifestyle, my asset. This is something I can measure that I own is my network. Includes my LinkedIn network, because everything I achieve for the most part comes from the people in my network. I picked the right home. I bought the right car. I found the right job opportunity. I got referrals, got introduced. I found solutions, I found resources, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of that comes from our network. So for me, I'm pretty deliberate about managing and growing my LinkedIn network. And the better I work, the better I do at this, the more deliberate I am at building my network, the greater value I get from my network, including my LinkedIn network. So as you're growing your LinkedIn network, you need to focus on your target audience, focus on your influencers. This morning, when I was ranting and raving with a client about these 25 people who are not growing their network fast enough, I was thinking about, you know what, for myself, how many of my target audience or their influencers have I actually added to my LinkedIn network in the last week? Now, I've grown my network pretty regularly. I don't grow it fast and furious. But I started thinking about how many new connections are actually my target audience and their influencers. And then I was like, oh my God, I don't think I did a good enough job of doing that. That's important to think about. You can grow your LinkedIn network, but when you grow it, focus on your target audience and their influencers, it's much more rewarding. And by the way, you also need to be willing to connect with people you can help. This is called networking for mutual benefit. If the only thing I was doing was growing my network of people, my target audience and their influencers, then I'm minimizing the opportunities. Because I also want to help others, because it's when you help others that you create opportunities for them to help you. That's really important. Don't just connect with your target audience, their influencers, but you're looking for those every day. Purposeful networking is the word I use. Purposeful. By the way, purposeful for me is I look for an opportunity to connect with someone new every single day of my life. And actually in my role, I look for 3 or 4 or 5 new connections. I've got a decent network, but it always needs to keep growing. Purposeful networking. Every opportunity I connect with someone, I look for, every opportunity I engage with someone, I look for an opportunity to connect with them. So you find the people you want to connect with and look for ways to get introduced to them. Look for ways to bump into them through their content. Engage with your target audience. Engage with your influencers through LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, maybe Facebook. I don't know where, but look for different places to bump into your target audience. And then you can send them an invite, because once you bump into them and they engage with you through their content, they now know who you are. You're no longer Adam's house cat. And the most important thing you can do when you're growing your network purposefully is to engage immediately. Do not simply connect and go, yippee, I got a new connection. New connections do not make your business grow. New connections of people who trust, respect, and like you, that will make your business grow. And your level of engagement is directly proportional to their relevance to your business. That's important to remember as well. So don't just pile up a big stack of business cards digitally. Make connections and engage. And remember, people don't give a crap what you know until they know you care. So make the conversations about them first, rather than what most people do is they connect and then they try to sell their widget. That doesn't work. Any questions? Feel free to, small group, unmute yourself and ask any questions. So you're building your profile and you're building your network. The next thing you need to do is engage in social engagement and social sharing. Most members don't do enough of this at all. Most LinkedIn members do no social engagement. But don't be this guy either, who when you walk into a networking event and you see this guy walking up to you, you know all he's going to do is hand his brochure, his flyer, his testimonial, his case study to you. Guy on LinkedIn this morning I've never engaged with before. Actually, I've engaged with him one time when we first connected, and that was 2017. Over the past 3 months, he has sent me a proposal, a quote, testimonial. And actually, the newest thing he sent me is he wanted me to look at his website. He said, hey, I updated my website. Go take a look at it. Really? You don't even know who I am, dude. You've never engaged with me in regards to what I do. And the first thing you want to do is you want to send me your testimonials, and you want to send me your what's it called? His brochure. It wasn't really a brochure, it was sort of a brochure. And then he wants me to look at his new website. People don't care about that. He's never engaged with me meaningfully. Look for ways to get into real conversations with your target audience and their influencers. Make the conversation all about the other person, and they'll give you permission to then turn it around and make it about you where relevant and appropriate. And you need to make sure that people know you're a human. Don't use automation. Don't show up as a robot. Don't show up as this person that's dropping, 50 or 100 LinkedIn messages, the same messages to everybody going, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. It doesn't work. Engagement is where it starts working. Human to human. And by the way, if you're going to comment on somebody's stuff, don't say thank you. Don't say I agree. Don't say cool. Read what they wrote and come up with some meaningful, relevant conversation, using keywords, and make it all about that post. Never steal a post. Never hijack a post and make it about you. I was doing a live Zoom call on Monday and probably had about 25 people watching it. And I had a bunch of people engaging. And they were saying, oh, Teddy, I like that idea. Oh, Teddy, what about this idea? It was really good stuff. I had one guy who dropped 3 comments on my live Zoom. It was live on LinkedIn and Facebook. And he had 3 comments. His 3 comments were, hey, I'm having this going on. I got this going on. Hey, you should check out my website. He was trying to hijack my live Zoom. I owe him a phone call, and I will make that phone call because that's disrespectful. Never try to hijack someone's conversation. Also, make sure everything you're sharing is relevant and useful to your target audience in a way that can help you build trust, respect, and like. Furthermore, never do, say, or engage on social media or LinkedIn in any way you don't want to be seen, heard, or perceived of in life. That's a huge killer right there. And if you don't want to see that content, don't touch it. If you don't think that content's relevant, walk away from it. Never engage on content that could diminish your brand in any way. Never. And minimize the use of all that automation of canned responses, canned comments, and messages. Be real. Be a real human. If you care enough to build a relationship with someone, then you should care enough to put in the effort. So this has probably been about 3 months ago. I did this research, and it was pretty telling to me. So I did a poll, and in the poll, I asked people, after you look at someone's LinkedIn profile for the first time, where do you go next? And then I think I had four ideas in there. I said, do you go to their content? Do you go to their website? Do you go to their activity, or do you go to their company page? And it was scattered responses, but about 50% said they'll go look at a LinkedIn company page. 50% of the people who responded said they will go look at your company page. So what that says to me is, wow, if 50% of the people will go look at my company page, then I daggone well better have one. Furthermore, I better look and see, what does my profile say and what does my company page say relevant to my target audience? This is huge. And also, I wish LinkedIn would do this again. They did it in 2016. They haven't done it since then. But in the first quarter of 2016, there were 45 billion LinkedIn profile views. 45 billion times in 90 days. Somebody looked at somebody else's profile. 45 billion. Do that math. That's 15 billion a month of people looking at profiles. So if there's that many people looking at profiles, and if your goal is to get more people to look at your profile, what does your LinkedIn profile say to your target audience? Additionally, if 50% of the people who looked at profiles then went and looked at company pages, what's your company page say to your target audience? Most company pages are all about the company. We're the best ever, man. We've been around for years, man. We do it better than anybody else. We sell this, we sell that, we sell this, we do that. But most company pages do not speak clearly to their target audience about how the company serves a client. This is huge. All right. I'm going to drop in LinkedIn. I'm going to spend the next 15 or 20 minutes answering questions. But before I go, I want to let you know, I'm doing this little smack you in the face conversation just to say to you that you need to do more. If you showed up here, that clearly means that you have some interest in getting more value out of LinkedIn. So I put together a really simple offer. It's 2 public webinars. We do this every month or the 4th Wednesday of the month. It's a public webinar. There's 2 sessions. We do them back-to-back, Wednesday, 4th Wednesday, and then the next Wednesday. And then these 2 sessions are focused on building your profile, building your network, and building a reputation. Okay. Also give you the 4 ebooks: build a LinkedIn profile, build a LinkedIn network, build a professional reputation. And my newest ebook is 20 questions about LinkedIn and the answers you need. Now, for everybody who signs up to this special offer, I'm giving everybody an additional session, a private one-on-one coaching session. But you got to sign up to come to this. We do it every month. The first 2 sessions are public. The 3rd is a bonus session. It's private. So if you're interested in getting more value out of LinkedIn, let me know. I'll send you the link to this, and then you can sign up for the next session, which starts the 4th Wednesday of July. And my focus is to help you get more value out of using LinkedIn. All right. So I'm going to drop into LinkedIn. I'm going to spend the next, 15, 20 minutes answering questions. So unmute yourself and ask me any question. If you want me to bring your LinkedIn profile up and speak about your profile or your activity, then just give me permission to bring your profile up and we'll talk about it.
Okay, Teddy, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Katie.
Are you saying that you're going to just walk through some stuff, or you want us to ask questions? Right.
I want you to ask questions in this session. Yeah.
Okay. So once upon a time, you needed to have met someone face to face before you would connect with them. And that's just not the case anymore. Is that accurate?
That is correct. LinkedIn, the terms and services used to clearly say, never send an invite to someone who doesn't know you. Okay. And I'm okay with that statement, but I'm going to tell you right now, I can't bring up anybody's profile without permission. Actually, I can bring up my buddy. Where's my buddy?
You can bring mine up. You have my permission.
Okay. If I was not connected to you, I would not send you an invite to connect.
Okay.
If I was not connected to you, but I'd call Mike Towson or Andrea and ask them to introduce me to you. So I don't care about that limiting, never send someone an invite who doesn't know you. I'm okay with that. You're going to know me before you get that invite. And if I know you're using LinkedIn, then I may come down here and look at your activity and I may go engage with you through your activity. So I'm okay with that, but it's not that blunt anymore. I mean, today, if I wanted to connect with, Jim Creamer, I'd find a way to connect with Jim Creamer.
Okay. I mean, I figured it was because I have done that a lot more. But I try to keep as a rule of thumb that there's, that I don't want to just chase people around and connect with them. Like you said, that it's got to be purposeful. It needs to be intentional.
Yeah. And by the way, it's, I send invites to people who don't know me. But I have a very deliberate style that I teach in my classes that makes it work most of the time. Doesn't always work because, I don't know how often Jim's on LinkedIn, or Jeanette. So they've got to be using LinkedIn actively enough for them to want to connect with you.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Anybody else have any question? Unmute yourself. Ask me any question. I'll answer them as we.
Yes. So when establishing a startup, how much more difficult is it to promote your business compared to when you have many connections that are part of your own target audience?
So Angel, can I bring your profile up?
It's a little rusty, but you could, yes.
It's rusty. How do you get a rusty LinkedIn profile?
I'm new to it, so yeah.
Is this you?
No, I'm actually quite low.
What's your company name?
So I have no company. I'm just trying to get some, knowledge about LinkedIn. I do.
Where are you located?
I'll give you my institution. It's Berkeley.
School is Berkeley?
Yes.
University of California or Berkeley College?
UC Berkeley. Second one.
Second one, this is you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just getting started.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you've already got creator mode turned on. Creator mode is of no value if you're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to do something. So, and so is this your business?
No, these are the companies I have collaborated with since last summer.
Okay. Okay. So ask the question again, Angel.
Yes. So when establishing a startup, how much more difficult is it to promote your business compared to when you have many connections that are part of your target audience, when you're basically at a good, steady,
so great. That's a great question. I would not spend any time promoting my business with just 12 connections. I would not spend any time promoting my business with just 12 connections. I would focus on growing my network around two very deliberate groups of people. Group number one is people that you already know, people that know you, fellow students, professors, family, friends, people that, you know, that you personally know. That's number one. Okay. Pull out your, you know, your Google contacts list and everybody give a phone number for, look and see if they're on LinkedIn and connect with them. That's number one. Group number two. Group number two is connect with people who play in the sandbox that your startup business is in related to. So find ways to meet people who are relevant to your sandbox. Find people who do that work in another space, do that work in another industry. Find people who are, you know, resources to that that startup. Find people who are related in a very broad way to the work that you're trying to get involved in. Your goal at this point is just to build your network. Do not start marketing or hawking your company. You've got to build your network. And while you're building your network, you need to look for ways to get into conversations with people who are relevant to where you are going. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, you got a long way to go before you can start using LinkedIn to build your brand, because you don't have enough people that can see you. But again, you've got creator mode turned on. You've got to start creating some activity.
Definitely.
And that activity, Angel, is got to be directly related to where you are going, the startup that you're developing. So I would start engaging on conversations relevant to that startup, and I would start sharing content relevant to that startup.
Got it.
Good question. What other questions do you folks have or that I can help you with?
Teddy, I got one for you.
You think you're going to stump me? I hope you do.
No, gosh, I don't think I'm
No,
gonna
the way you said it, Teddy, I got one for you.
No, I'm thinking through, like, over time, my profile has evolved, and I'm always kind of, you know, questioning, is this a good idea to put here? It's relevant to me. I think it's interesting, but I don't usually say a lot or comment a lot. And some of that is because as a company, everybody's still trying to figure out, okay, here's kind of how we want you to use LinkedIn. Here are posts that you can share, that kind of stuff. But when I go and look at my profile, like in my background section, I didn't say a lot about myself. Like, and I feel like I need to change that. I have things in there that are about the company or about what Adams Outdoor does more than it's about me.
Yeah. This is your personal profile. This needs to be about you in your role in the industry, in the company that you're a part of. Needs to be about.
I'm still new. So I'm still trying to kind of like, how do I articulate that as I learn more about what I'm doing? It's been 4 months, you know, but that part is really supposed to be more about me, to be sure. I'm just clarifying that. Absolutely.
This is about you in your role, how you serve your client, what you do to help them. Now, don't misunderstand me. I mean, I know what your industry is. So your industry is helping people get eyeballs on their message. You know, your role is helping people make decisions about what, you know, where to put their message. Your role is to help people make decisions about, you know, how far, how broad, how wide is their message. Your role is to help people to get their brand discovered and to build trust and respect to the messaging they put out there. So you gotta, this takes time and energy. By the way, this is one of the things I help you do when I help you build your profile. Figure out how to say this.
Right. Okay. I knew that needed work. And you know, several things do, and I just end up not spending a lot of time on it. So guess what? I get the same thing when I don't invest the time in making it better. So
and take a look at your LinkedIn profile. Look how many profile views you're getting. You know,
I do that.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's probably a low number because your engagement's probably fairly low.
Yeah, it is. It
But
is.
but the more your engagement goes up, the more eyeballs you get on your profile. Then you're wondering, wow, are people looking at an ad slick for the company? Or are they looking at me and discovering what I want to do and can do for them?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more question, Angel. Another question.
Yeah, I do have another question. So when it comes to creating your own network, right, and building those connections over time, at some point you're gonna have to know how to manage your time with that communicating aspect, right? You wanna make sure that any projects you're gonna get started on are well coordinated, not just among one person, but the entire pool of connections you have. How do you manage your time while really, you know, managing your own business affairs with
I get that. That's a powerful question. How do I manage my time, engaging with my LinkedIn network so that I get value from that while I'm working on growing my business and doing what I need to do in my business? Well, first and foremost, I don't engage with everybody on LinkedIn for the sake of engaging with everybody on LinkedIn. If I'm going to jump into LinkedIn and go to my network and I'm going to go and look for engage with somebody, then I'm going to be very purposeful about engaging with people who are relevant to my business. I'm going to engage directly with influencers and my target audience. I'm not going to go in here and engage with everybody. Okay. This is my prospecting activity. I have two styles: second level activity and first level activity. My first level LinkedIn connection activity, I'm going to engage with the people who are directly relevant to my business. Okay. So additionally, when I get messages from people on LinkedIn, if the message is relevant to me and relevant to my business, I may engage on it a little bit deeper, a little bit broader, a little bit more deliberate than engaging with messaging from people who are not directly relevant to my business. So, you can see that, I've had some people engage with me that are not directly relevant. This guy wants to sell me web development. So I very politely wished him all the best and told him it's not relevant to me. And he gave me a thumbs up. I'm good. That means the conversation is done. This lady has a program that wants to buy my books. I'm going to engage her a little more deliberately. Okay. This guy wants me to help his wife. He's a friend, but I'm still going to help his wife. Okay. Because that's important for me to help others. So you make a decision of what level engagement is important to your business. And that's where you put the energy. You don't ignore everybody else. Let me repeat, you do not ignore everybody else, but you answer them quickly and succinctly and you move on to the next tactic. Angel, I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So again, my goal is to help you get more value out of using LinkedIn. If you're interested in getting more value and you want more deliberate help, then consider the offer I'm going to send you to join me for my monthly webinar series. 2 are public and 1's a private, where we dig way deeper into building your profile, building your network, and building your brand. Thank you very much for showing up today. I hope you got value from it. I hope to talk with you another day.
Thanks, Teddy.